Welcome back. I'm Joe Kelly, and this is the Grindstone Circle. We got some amazing topics for you today, but before we get into the good stuff, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. This podcast is about real men, real lessons, and real talk. And this one is interesting because this was on a social media feed, and this is a gentleman that I think he's pretty cool. He has some pretty good takes on relationships, but I want to play it for you all. And then we're going to go ahead and react to it and get some thought capital on that. All right. It's a minute and 35 seconds. So bear with me.
Where are the black men with the recipe for marriage? Because y'all ain't loud enough for me. Now, y'all know as a culture of people, we loud about all the wrong things. Now, me as a black man, I desire marriage. But I have so many things working against me when it comes to the movies, when it comes to my upbringing, when it comes to people in my family. You don't hear too many black men talking about getting married, doing it right, generational wealth, building a family. And not only that, working through the hard times, getting through the tough thing, getting through things that most people walk away from. But I know there are people who are doing it. Why ain't y'all letting us know what the recipe is? Now, we all know that it's work, but it's nothing like having an example. It's nothing like having somebody who went through it and came out on the other side. It's nothing like seeing somebody commit to genuine, true love. Go through the phases of I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Going through where this person is growing more than the other person. This person is more financially responsible than this person. Where are the black men who got the recipe for marriage, who done really did it, and you still doing it, and you ain't let nobody deter you from continuing to work through that? Because commitment in the black community is a woo. And I want to know how you done it. Let me know, because I'm gonna do it.
All right. All right. That was the take right there. So yeah, that was a lot to take in. I took some notes, but who want to jump off the porch on that one?
I don't have no notes, but I'll be quick, man. I'll tell you about me. I mean, we here. He asked the question. Hey, we sitting right here. I think a lot of times too, the narrative is pushed out there that, black men aren't family men, right? Black men aren't good married men, not good fathers. It's the narrative, man. We are here. I mean, I see it all the time, and I think it's based off of what you're consuming, for one, on social media, what you're consuming, and then who you're hanging around. I mean, you think about us right now. We're good black men, married black men. Earl, you the same, buddy, Ro. At the end of the day, but I think it's all about the narrative, man. Man, we're here, and that's why we had this platform, right? We had a platform because now we're gonna be the ones that's pushing out the narrative that black men are successful, are great married men, and great men and great fathers as well. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the narrative to me, man. It's not much to even say into that, because at the end of the day, it's so many black guys that I know that are married, have 2 children, and a white picket fence and a dog as well, right? They are here. It's just the fact that the narrative is pushing out something different, man.
No, I think Trell hit the nail on the head, man. And my wife's family, they're currently over in Africa right now, but her mother does like international teaching and stuff like that, which is taking her to like the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, different places in Africa, stuff like that. And she's met a lot of people. And the consensus is usually the same thing. Like, people on that side of the world think that black people over here are just being pulled out of their houses and strung up and being shot, and we're shooting each other and it's like a war zone. Just like black people over here think that certain parts of Africa, everybody's eating out of dirt bowls and huts and stuff like that. To Trell's point, it is the narrative, and that narrative is designed in order to push people away from that, right? So the guy said he's combating so many things like TV and music and all these other things. And there's so much money put into that type of stuff in order to create division, because that unity within the community brings power, and showing that, right? Like, if you look at the news, like, you don't go on the news at 6 o'clock and they're like, oh, such and such just donated X amount of dollars to blah 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 for college. Such and such just fed the homeless over here. Even outside of feeding the homeless, they are giving people citations and taking them to jail for feeding people outside without proper registration and permits and things of that nature. So a key factor in the media is if it bleeds, it leads. So if it's something that's showing, especially black men, black people in general, in a positive light, it's probably not going to hit 6 o'clock news or be at the top of the algorithm for other people to see, to then begin to engage in that type of behavior. They want people fighting each other, shooting each other, women shaking ass, and all that other type of stuff. So,
no, that's a good point. I think I have, I don't want to go on a rant, but I have a lot to say about that, and I think a lot of it has to do with, as Trail said, like what we consume on social media, right? What we consume in our movies, what is being pushed, right? I think there's a lot of pushing of black men on around, like black men don't love their kids. And again, the statistics have shown like black fathers are the most involved fathers of all races, right? Like there's been times where like my son had a baseball game and I changed my flight and I flew in and I was able to get the last like 30 minutes of his game because I was like, I'm not missing a game. Like I'm going to be there. And I did everything in my power to be there. Like, so I think to his point, like the secret sauce is what we're doing right now, you know, to Terrell's point, like creating this podcast and making people know that, hey, we are great men, right? That went through some lessons and we learned and we fell down and we got back up. I think the ultimate key to a great marriage and success is this whole, like, throw away this whole notion of like having a ready-made person, right? I think that's a big issue that I see all the time. And I hear it from women, I hear it from men of, you know, I don't want to build a boo, right? I don't want to build a husband. I don't want to build a wife. Like, but that's a part of the process. Like that's a part of the journey of learning the ebbs and flows. And I don't know if you all can attest to this, right? In your marriages, is there are things where you've been married to your spouses for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and there's still things you're like, you know what, I'm just now opening up and letting her know about this. Or I'm just now okay with, her not asking me 1,100 times what's wrong and are you okay? Like she asked me once, maybe twice, and I go ahead and give it to her because it's like, hey, this is what's been weighing on me. Like this, that takes time. And I think people are in this microwave culture of relationships and marriage to where like you see, 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight. You see all these dating reality shows and like, that's not married. That's not real life, right? Like what happens when your wife gets, she gets pregnant and she has 2, 3 kids and she's not the same, size 4 she was when you met her, right? Like life evolves. Like what happens when your husband falls on hard times and he's stressed out, he starts overeating and that 8-pack goes to a 2-pack. Like what do you do in those scenarios? How do you get him back up? How do you pick her back up? Like that's how it works. And I don't think people in social media and in entertainment is highlighting and showcasing that enough. Of it's not going to be rainbows and butterflies. You're going to have small instances of that. Like you're going to see it when we get to the mountaintop, but you're not going to see that, my wife had to carry me, half the way and I had to carry her and the kids the rest of the way, right? Like you're not going to see that because no one's willing to take the veil off and show this is how the burger's made, right? And I think that's where we're losing a lot, especially young men, because young men don't have outlets like this where they can come and see black men that are married, right? That we're married and we're navigating uncharted waters and we're telling you like, this is what I struggled with and this is what I don't believe in and this is my perspective and this is what I won't stand for, right? And then they can make their decision on what that looks like, So that's my kind of my rant on the whole topic. But yeah,
I don't think it's a rant, man. I don't think it's a rant at all. The journey is important, and you said like this ready-made microwave society, and then you brought up exactly the points that I was thinking about. Like you want a ready-made individual, but then do those individuals stay the same for the duration of your relationship? Or is there an expectation that during the relationship there would be additional growth, right? Like you guys either grow together or you grow apart. So even that in itself, like, and I think we were talking about that in our previous episode, like these unrealistic expectations of what life and certain interactions should be. right? So you're talking about like getting to the mountaintop, but the focal point shouldn't be the mountaintop. Like everybody's going to get to like the end point and the destination initially, but what's happening along the way, right? Like having to pick her up, her having to pick you up. That's what develops like the bond. That's what develops the agape love, right? Which is like, you got friendship. There's so many different levels of like love too. And I think that journey helps you to navigate and achieve those things through doing what life is about. And I think this is something else that people will begin to understand too, or it's helped me a lot, right?
Yeah.
Life is just the overcoming of one obstacle after the next. Like that's what it is, right? Even to be born, like it's a traumatic experience. There's a lot of work that has to be done, but like the dopamine and serotonin release that you get as a result of like checking things off your list and completing goals and overcoming obstacles, like that is the essence of what life is. So the sooner that people begin to embrace, one, the fact that there are going to be bumps and challenges and obstacles, and two, that's what life is, and three, that's the opportunity to feel the most alive by jumping over this shit that's been put in your way to impede your progress towards whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So
No, agreed.
I'm gonna say this real quick, and I, just obviously, we got our group chat, and um, and we all share things that our kids are doing, or our wives, or girlfriend, what we're doing, and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that the people, and like when y'all talk about me, and I'm going back and forth, and all that different kind of stuff, and I think part of it is that the ones that like how long did it take for us to put this podcast together? Like we could have did something like this 3, 4, 5 years ago. You know what I mean? When podcasting really started being a thing. But the thing is that our lives are busy, right? Like I think we're too busy staying out the way and doing what we got to do. You know what I mean? And I think because of, but I tell you like this, where I live now, I'm in like I live amongst my mother's side of the family, right? Like all up and down the road. And there used to be times when it was like you would see kids running up and down the road, but like the kids now are they're not going around the corner and seeing and seeing Mr. Garrett, right? You know what I mean? They're not going around the corner and getting to talk to Mr. Joe or Mr. Dontrell. Like I think a lot of it is like because of the social media and the video games and things of that nature, they're more inside and they don't get to see the real life examples that are going on outside. They don't get to, and then on top of that, like I know, like me knowing y'all and knowing our crew, like I think we get caught up in being present and busy in our lives, like and actually being good fathers, being good husbands, being good, being career oriented, like doing all these things. I think that's what's happening. You
I'm
know,
gonna push. I'm
I
gonna push back
wouldn't put
on
too
that.
much blame on us. Like, well, I think we're doing the right thing by like doing this podcast, but I think a lot of it, like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like, I kind of like staying out the way and just doing what I got to do. You know what I'm
for real, though.
saying?
For real.
Like, I just,
Now
you know?
I'm a push back on that a little bit, and I think, and I'm gonna tee this up to JoJo because I remember when I was working with this kid. He was a high school kid, football player, and the kid was injured. He was like, I'm gonna go pro. I'm gonna get my family out the hood. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And I started talking to the kid via text or whatever, and I was like, nah. So what's your backup plan? He was like, there is no backup plan. I'm making it. I'm like, listen, dude, like I can tell you from experience, 3 knee surgeries in, my boy, you need to have a backup plan. And I remember having a conversation with JoJo, and he's like, yo, you can't put that perspective on kids that are, they're not in your position. They're not in a mental space to be able to take what you're trying to say and digest the information. You gotta talk to them on their level, right? You got to get to them on their level, right? And for me, I felt like it was so important for me to reach out to this kid, and give him feedback and like, set you up for success, or give you these little nuggets, right? To where I took time out of my day to do that. So my pushback is, I think to your question, like why didn't we start this podcast sooner? I think we didn't start this podcast sooner because we didn't see the importance, or we didn't feel that it was important enough at the time in which we were originally discussing it, right? Because to JoJo's point, like you make time for what's important, right? Like if this was important enough 5 years ago, guess what we would have did? We would have popped this off 5 years ago. But it wasn't until, and this is from my perspective, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, it wasn't until our sons really started growing and we're like, hold up, wait a minute, there's not enough of us being displayed. Like, hold up, wait a minute, like these narratives that we're constantly seeing are going to start trickling into the minds of our sons and of our children, right? So it's like, what are we going to do to be able to course correct that? And I think we're all at points in our careers where it's like, hey, we grind it, like we've gotten to where we want to go, we're still going to grow and do some more stuff in the corporate spaces, but like we're at a point to where it's like, hey, we can now be okay with putting our opinions out there, right? And being okay with the feedback or the comments that people may have, because we're almost in our 40s and it's kind of like, you know what, we're about to hit that golden stage where it's like, I don't care what you think about me. Like, I don't give two craps. This is how I feel. This is what we think. Take it or leave it, right? So I push back on that a little bit because I think we didn't feel like it was as important, because the people that have the largest microphones now that's talking about the divisiveness and men ain't and baby mamas are throwaways and all this other crazy nonsense you hear on social media, like they felt it was important enough to push that narrative. So that's why it's been pushed. And I think right now we're at a point to where now it's more important for us to start combating those negative narratives and show people like, no, we got some really great dudes out there, especially Black dudes out there that's doing it the right way, that's stepping up to the plate, and here's how we did it.
No, I think you were the catalyst for that, Joe. Like, I understand what you're saying in that space, and our situation is a little bit different because we homeschool our children, and part of that is exactly that fact. Like, I don't want their lights being dimmed, right, in certain institutions that I personally feel, based on history and my experience in there, they're not necessarily created to optimize that, especially for our Black and brown children. So it wasn't lost to me from the time that we had kids that I wanted something different. And our situation with my oldest just kind of put us in a space where, like, I had to do something in order to make certain things work. And it just worked out beautifully to where we were able to homeschool our kids. But I think your antennas kind of being up in that space and like bringing some of that information a little bit more to light was more of a catalyst to like kind of begin those conversations. At least for me, like I wasn't in the same kind of like mind space, right? So it was still like provide, protect, preach, right? Like your Black children in America, in a certain society, there's certain things that you need to be aware of. There's certain rules, right? Unwritten rules and systems that you have to learn how to navigate in order to be successful, right? So I think that's where I was kind of at with it. And then you introduced some additional things for me to think about, at least. So, Trell, was that the same for you, or was it a little different?
About the same, man.
No, I think he was asking like, what was your take? Like, what was your feel on like where you are now versus where we were? You know what I mean? And why, like, where we are currently is and why we're doing this, right?
Man, I don't know what you talking about. Say that again.
Did you know what? When I said it, mind you, listen, YouTubers, and all the social media, it is 10 and 15, and I'm 40 years old and I'm tired. So if y'all want to know why I just mumbled what I just said, it's because I'm tired. I got to get up in the morning to go to work.
I gotta go to work.
Oh man, fellas, I will say this is an amazing thing that we're doing. Oh man, no, I was trying to pick up what JoJo said, but I just realized he got like 3 master's degrees and he has a bigger vocabulary than I do. So therefore, I really tried to do what y'all do, but that's just not me. I'm just me.
Don't let. Hey, you good, man. You earned.
Asabi, always stay true and be you, baby.
Yes, sir.
But I will tell you this. My shorty just brought this into me. I want to share something with y'all. I know y'all been seeing me look down, but I just wanted to.
Yeah. Mr. Earl made the paper.
And the gridiron guy. I don't know. Listen, Trail know more than anybody, man. I don't know how I ended up doing this because I was just a basketball player on a basketball scholarship. I still am on that basketball scholarship.
Joe, where we at, man? What
Nah, that was pretty much it, man. I think, to the point of that a video was like, what we're doing right now is what's needed, right? What we are giving to the world from a podcast, social media outreach perspective. This is what's needed for people that are wanting to get married, that are in relationships, that may be holding off from getting married for whatever reason, right? Based on what they hear and see in social media. Again, I know I haven't been in the dating game for over a decade, so I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you like dating is easy, because when we grew up, it was a lot different than how it is today, right? The dating market today is just a different monster that honestly I want no parts of it.
I'm gonna let y'all know right now. You don't want neither one of y'all want any parts of it.
I'm too broke to be in the game. The way they make it seem, right?
Yeah.
The way the world make it seem, I'm too broke to be in that. Hey,
when I hear people,
I want y'all to stay right there where y'all got wonderful wives, y'all got wonderful unions. Stay right where you at. Don't.
I told my sons the other day, a couple months ago, and I said, listen, right? There's no way on this green earth you should be spending all this money on dates. Like the first 5 to 10 dates should be free. Like it should just be some free stuff. Like we're going to the museum, we hanging out.
Yeah.
Like I remember. Listen, y'all gonna clown me when I say this, but I remember I went on a date to Walmart. Like called her up, was like, "Hey, look, I need to go buy some food. Do you want to hang out? Like, let's go." And we walking through the aisles, hanging out at Walmart. That was a date. I spent my $150, $200 on food, took it back to my apartment, and put it away. Got ready for the week. But that was a date for me. Like the notion of spending $150 on the first date, and then now I hear like I don't do coffee dates. Coffee dates aren't for me. Like you don't drink coffee? Like, what's wrong with coffee?
But I will say this though. When you think of it that way, that's what we hear. But is that reality though? You know what I mean? It's a lot of women out there. Yeah, it's a set of women that say, "Hey, you got to take me to Ruth Chris," all those type of things there. But I'm pretty sure it's so many other women out there just like, listen, I just want to have a good time. I want to relax. I want to go canoeing. Something very simple, right? Mm-hmm. So I think what we're trying to do within our platform too is to show, there are people out here, men and women, that still like the simple things, and not just the simple things, but not so extravagant to say, we need to, go to Brazil and take these different trips. No, that stuff is fake to me, man. I know it's out there, but this platform is all about the real, the truth, right? And what's reality and what's really happening out here in the world. I mean, we're going to give it to you raw. We're going to give it to you real. And that's what we're all about.
Absolutely. I'm still telling my sons first 5 dates are free. We ain't playing.
But listen, don't tell your sons to take no girl to no Walmart, bro. You said it was a date for you. I wonder if that female was like, "Oh yes, that was a nice date." I wonder if she left thinking she had gone on a date too. You couldn't buy.
Well, what I can tell you is I can tell you that she learned a lot more about me during that session at Walmart than she would have eaten dinner at a restaurant.
So you think the conversations were different because of the leg exercise?
Well,
I'm just trying to understand.
No, I think the conversation was different because I think the conversations were different because I think both of us guards were down, shields were down. It's like really a candid conversation. Like she's walking around in flops. I had on some gym shorts and a beater, right? It was no sense of I'm trying to overly impress you, right? It's just like, yo, like, can you pass me the Captain Crunch? Thank you. 2% milk, please. Like, I'm allergic to pineapples, you know, like
Oh man.
you know, like that's really what it is. It's really the time that you're spending with that person to really kind of pull back the onion on, okay, is this someone I really want to, you know, start a future with, invest time, invest money, invest resources? Like that's really what it is. And I think the more you placate kind of the false narratives of, in order for you to show that you are a person or a man of this stature or this, you know, structure, you have to go out and, you know, smooth and wine and dine. Like I don't believe that is the true way of doing it. Like I love baby girls to the moon.
At what point though, Joe? Because for the people, right, who may not know, if we were gonna liken people to spirit animals or whatever, Joe is the resident peacock. My boy finna put that fan out. He finna show them colors. Like, not saying like in a bad way, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah,
you enjoy a good dinner, you know what I mean? You have very nice taste and
I
things of that
do.
nature.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
when does that begin then? Or are you stating that there isn't a space for that in the dating and the courtship like phase?
No, I think there is a place for that, but I think it's after you've come to the conclusion that this is a person that I want to pursue long term, right? Like I don't think you're gonna figure that out within the first 3 days. You're just not. Like you're still trying to make sure this is a person that I'm even still interested in after date number 2, right? Like everyone's gonna put their best foot forward 1 through 3. Like that's what they're gonna do. It's not until, you know, date 4, date 5 where it's like, okay, I can really, I got the difficult questions out the way, kind of the non-negotiables. Like we talked through certain dynamic scenarios. You know what? I can see myself really, you know, dating this woman, really getting into a groove with this person. Okay, great. Now I want to plan something nice. I want to take you to a really nice, you know, steak dinner. Like I can show you now, okay, like here's my whiskey palette, right? And here's the things that I like, right? I like, you know, I like my filet mignon, butterfly, medium well, you know, that's where we are now. Like, hey, here's a, you know, a situation. We're gonna fly here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna plan this out. I think after like that 5th or 6th date, then you can start investing, you know, finances into showing that person kind of what type of courting you are possibly capable of when it pertains to the dating process.
I think it all depends on the timing too, though, right? Because I mean, one date can last 8 hours. You know, if you start early in the morning, next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. That's one date.
I'm telling
You
you
know,
right now, they're
hey,
gonna put an APB
hey,
out for her. They were like,
hey, that's a minute.
all day.
That's a minute.
I think I will say this though, as far as like, especially with us and our sons, right? Like, I'm actually about to, uh, my oldest son is in high school now, so I gotta start really, really thinking about what I'm gonna say. And I can't. I remember my father trying to give me advice on dating, and I also remember him also learning how he had to adapt a little bit of his message for the times that we lived in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I do want us to be open to where our young men, our daughters are at the time, right? Now, Jojo, yeah, but like, but as far as me, like when it comes to my sons, it's like my main message is make sure she values you for you. You know what I mean? And how do we show that? We're not gonna show that. We can't always show that with money, right? Um, there's a deeper value. So like, how are we gonna find what are some different ideas? And then you got to be. I think a lot of them too. Like if you're creative, some of these young ladies love creativeness, right? And I'm also learning this because I'm as far as the age group that we're going to be teaching, which is ours, when they come into high school, just like me, when I'm looking at these young ladies, they like seeing creativeness, so maybe it isn't about money, but we do have to adapt our message a little bit. and make sure though that they're learning about you, and they're learning about, and you're learning them, and you're you're starting to learn about love languages, and you're starting to learn about stuff like that, so that they can essentially train themselves to pick the right partner for them, you know. I think that's very important. I'm sorry, I had to put that out there, you know. Make sure we
Good point. That's a good point, man. Like, listen, the years have changed.
yes.
The years have changed. The students have changed, but the
Yeah.
outcome is still the same. Like it's all the same, right? Like who's the, you know, who's making the most money 50 years from now versus today, right? Like that's changed, but the objective is still the same, right? Like court, do it the right way, go through a vetting process, ensure that they're in it for you, not for what it is that you can provide, right? And then go through that journey. And how do you do that is by being creative and strategically figuring out how you can get through the first 3 to 7 dates without paying a lot of money. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real, man.
I hear you, Joe. You cheat though, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. You cheat, bro.
Joe is very cheap though. I will say
Joe
that.
cheat, bro.
Oh
Tell
man.
you talking about adapting the message, bro. These man, look, I heard somebody else saying something too, man. It was like, oh, for you guys, 30 something or whatever, you ain't depressed, you know, you just ain't got no money type deal. And I'm like, it almost sounds like it's in the same kind of space. You're gonna have these young boys out here depressed, man, because they ain't getting no play. And I'm not saying you have to lead with the money, right? Because you don't want individuals to fall in love with your hand, but like you gotta come correct. What the old folks say, and I know times is different, right? But you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And I don't know if the young lady that you took to Walmart is the woman that you married. You know what I'm saying?
Is it
No,
Elise? Did you
the
take
woman I
Elise to
met.
Walmart?
No, the
Have you
woman
ever
I
taken
married.
Elise
Okay,
to Walmart?
so the woman in Walmart is null and void.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you a quick story about the woman I married. So, when we met, I was so broke at the time to where I took out on a nice romantic date. It was real nice. I'm talking, you know, it was on the beach. You know, we was laying up under the stars, and all I could afford was a box of Popeyes and some cheap wine. That was the date. That was it. It cost me $17. The bottle of wine was $10. The Popeyes was $7.
Let me jump
Right?
in though. Let me jump in. Exactly what Earl was just saying. So you talking about no money taken to Walmart. The woman you married, even though you did not have money, innovation through necessity, you used creativity, right? And
Correct.
created a moment. But you did not come to the woman that you married with nothing in your hand. That's not how you
No.
presented
I'm not saying don't spend bread. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is don't spend the amount of bread that people are saying they want people to spend.
Oh
Like
no, it's ridiculous.
that's what I'm like when I say don't spend money, I'm saying like, listen, man, we went out, we had a nice time. You know, I came out of pocket $30. You know what I'm saying? We went to, you know, a park, a museum. It was $10 a person to get in. All right, here go $20. I'm not tripping on spending money at all. What I'm saying is I'm not taking you to Nobu for our first date. I'm not taking you to Ruth Chris for our first date. I'm not doing that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? That's date number 7. After I'm like, yo, I really like this woman. Like, she's amazing. She got a lot of stuff going for her. Like, I can see us, you know, working out. Like, yo, it's time. All right, I got the reservation. You know, I'll pick you up at 7:30. Be ready. You know, whatever. That's when I can flex, you know, a little bit more. But the first 3 days, like, no, I'm not paying for your time. Like, my time is just as valuable as yours, right? We're courting each other and trying to figure out whether or not this is even going to work. So what I'm not going to do is spend $125 for you to be like, thank you, appreciate the, you know, the surf and turf.
Yeah. No, I agree. They got
you know,
to pay for their time too, and that's not what we're doing. So
I'm curious because when we was in college, the one that wasn't spending the money is mighty quiet right now. So I just want to know, Trail, what was your first date with the woman that you married?
Uh-oh. Spotlight.
Easy. That's easy, man. First date in December, I remember it. Went back to school. I tell you, was in the car. I had a little red car. No AC in that thing, but it was cold in December.
Oh yeah,
In
yeah, yeah,
Tallahassee.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And we went and got a slushie and sat in the car by Lake Ella, Joe. If you know
Okay.
what I'm talking about, by Lake Ella, and we sat in that mud for like 6 hours, bro, and just
Wow.
talked. And that was back in the day when we had the BlackBerry.
Nice.
And that was it. That was it. You know what I mean? But the second date, I ain't had no money back then, but the second date was Ruby Tuesdays. That's when I was able to spend a little bit more,
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I remember it, dog. And I haven't gotten too far from that. I'm just a frugal guy. I'm more so, the thought that counts, type of guy, so that's it.
I feel you. I feel you. Let's go. Let's
Hey,
go.
keep that going. JoJo, what was yours, man? What was your first date with sis?
First official date was steak. Well, it's different. Me and Rock, we got together it was like around high school time. So y'all thought y'all ain't had no money. I damn sure ain't had no money. I think we
Yeah.
went to our first official date. We went to Steak and Shake. Well, first though, we went to a movie, and the movie that we went to see was Miami Vice, the one with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. And then afterwards, we went to Steak and Shake. But because she was we were still young and stuff, they made us take our little brother. So she had to take her little brother. I had to take Jordan, and we went to the movies and stuff. And then we went to Steak and Shake, got a little bit to eat, and I ended up putting a little razzle dazzle. We left the little brothers at Steak and Shake for a little bit, and I took a little place and got a little kissy, nothing explicit. You know what I'm saying? But a little kissy, man. But yeah, we went on a little movie, a little Steak and Shake, man, something like.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't ask me. Because it's not gonna be.
It's not gonna be good.
Come on, Earl.
I will say. Yeah. Don't ask me. Don't ask. I mean, I think mine was with my kid's mom. It was Chili's in a movie, but 2 years ago, about a year. Yeah, it should be a year ago, 2 years ago. And she'll probably get on me about this, but the lady that I'm with now, we went on our first date. This is today. It was our first date. So, and hopefully I'll be able to talk that talk with y'all later. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, my first date. But mine a little different. I'm grown now, so yeah. Mhm.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
What's the
Um,
Yeah,
my
let's wrap
first
this up, man.
my first date was so I had technically two first dates. My first date that I paid for, and this is when I was 22, 23, was actually Steak and Shake as well. So Steak and Shake, they had the $4 deals.
Yes,
Is that place
sir.
still open?
Yeah.
Is Steak and Shake still open?
Mhm.
I haven't
In
had Steak and
different
Shake in
spots,
so long.
like small.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the Steak and Shake Cajun burger, 2 patties. Yeah. And this is back in the day. That's the one I paid for. And then she was like, "That's cute, but I'm gonna take you on a real date." I was like, "Man, Steak and Shake's busting." And then the next date, official first date that she paid for was at the Olive Garden. Went to the Olive Garden, endless pasta. I bust down. And then ever since then, we were dating. Everything was discounted. So
What does that mean?
So every Wednesday when we were dating for 2 months, 2.5, almost 3 months, every Wednesday we went out on a date while we were dating. And there's this place called Rock Burger on Las Olas, and every Wednesday they had 50% off burgers. And we would go to Rock Burger. I would get a burger. It was $6. So it was $12 burgers. It was no, my math is off. Yeah, $12 burgers. I would pay like $6 and I get a little drink or whatever. So my total came up to like $8, $9. And I would pay for that. And she'll get like a little skinny burger with basically just meat and lettuce. And that was our date every Wednesday. So I spent about $20, $25 every Wednesday on a date for like 3 months straight until they went out of business.
That's good. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that concludes today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed the conversations that we had today. And as I mentioned before, like, comment, and subscribe so that when we drop some new heat, you'll be the first to know, and we can continue to grow this amazing community that we have. So this is a podcast where we have real talk, real lessons with real men. See you next time.